Welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. Today I want to talk about the 9.8 comic book market. And to be honest, it looks like values for 9.8 comics are cooling down just a little bit. So let's get into all the details here. The first book, it's Raiders of the Lost Ark, #1 in a 9.8. This one's a pretty cool one for sure if you're a big Indiana Jones fan. I saw this one sell in a 9.8 for $319 US dollars, all the prices that we'll talk about. And I'm not too familiar kind of the pricing history on this one. I'm not the biggest kind of Indiana Jones fan, but this was in an auction, and it just kind of struck me as a pretty great value. Like if you are an Indiana Jones fan, if you're in the market for this one, you know, this one's selling for right around $319, I think is a pretty great value. And certainly one to consider if you're an Indiana Jones fan. All right, the next one is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures #1 in a 9.8. I think I could have put this one on like the cooling down dropping video that we've done recently. Looks like this one's cooling down in value. A 9.8 selling for $550.61 US dollars. And you know, in the short term here, I was thought this one was sort of around the $700 range area. But if you go back even sort of 3 to 6 months ago, this one was sort of 900 to 1,000, I think, if you had sold then. And, you know, you go back with the stimulus checks and all that, this one was kind of 1,500 for a minute there. So absolutely cooling down. I do have a signature series of this one in a 9.8, but I'm, you know, kind of on the record as just wanting a blue label, but I've been waiting for them to kind of cool down a bit. I think if you want this one, I think you can get in there pretty much at $550, given that this one has cooled down so much. And it's a really cool one. You get a first appearance of Krang, Bebop, and Rocksteady. And it's the first time you get the Ninja Turtles with their 4 colored bandanas. I think that's a really kind of underrated, you know, seminal moment in comic books. Because I always, growing up as a kid, I didn't know the Ninja Turtles had the red bandanas. I just thought they had the 4 colored. Just, you know, being at that time like an 8-year-old kid. So, I really like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures #1. A pretty solid 9.8 right now to think about on the pullback. Next one's a cool one I saw sell. Dark Knight's Metal #2. So first cameo appearance of the Batman Who Laughs on this one. It's the convention edition I saw sell with a pretty cool Jim Lee cover. This is kind of a cool underfollowed version of Dark Knight's Metal #2. Usually people go after those Mattia variants because they have the Batman Who Laughs on the cover. But this one's kind of cool, and in an auction it sold for $56.88. I was watching this one. I probably would have went after this one if it was in the United States and the shipping was like $40 to Canada. So it wasn't really making sense for me, but at $56.88 with a really good shipping rate, I think that's a great value. And if you're a Batman Who Laughs fan, that convention edition of Dark Knight's Metal #2 is kind of a cool underfollowed one that's still really cheap in the 9.8 too, or affordable, let's call it. Next one was a really cool one that I was watching. Sold pretty quick. Probably sold in about 4 or 5 days. It's an Iron Man #122 in a 9.8. They retell the origin of Iron Man on this one. Cool cover. It's almost got like the Iron Man #1 cover homage a bit. You know, a bit of a swipe of that cover. So a cool one, an older one in the 9.8. It only sold for $180. And it was up on My Comic Shop for kind of that $180 sales price. So you could have went on their site and got it for like $160 or $150. I was really close to getting on the site and grabbing it for that, you know, closer to $150 price. I think it was $155 on their website. But I'm pretty sure this one sold on eBay because it wasn't just taken down. It actually said it sold. So I don't think it sold. I think it sold for $180, the eBay price. But yeah, it just kind of struck me as a really kind of cool old one, Iron Man comic in a 9.8 for a decent price. $180 on Iron Man #122, 9.8. Next one's a cool one. New Teen Titans #39. This one's when Dick Grayson quits as Robin. I was pretty close on grabbing this one too. I had this one on my watch list. It was in Canada. Ended up selling for, it was $93.50, which is about, it sold for $120 Canadian dollars, which ends up being $93.50 US dollars. A pretty great George Perez one that's underfollowed. And I'm seeing quite a few George Perez books on eBay right now, unfortunately, with his passing. But this is a great one. I mean, just as a big Robin fan myself, cool cover too, kind of a cool, simple cover. And $93.50, whoever grabbed that one. I I'm kind of hitting myself for not throwing in a bid. I should have just, took that one down for with an over $100 bid. I probably should have did that, but a cool one. New Teen Titans 39 going for $93.50. I think that's totally worth it. All right, next one's pretty cool. A Batman number 313. This one's a first appearance of Tim Fox, and in the kind of the future state, the next Batman is Tim Fox. Basically becomes the new Batman in the future state. So this one's kind of cool with his first overall appearance. I think this is a 1970s book, maybe like a 1978 or 1979 book. Ended up selling $1,956.31. This was in an auction as well. So I was really, kind of interested to see what this one would go at. Usually only see this one kind of sell in a buy it now or best offer. And, lots of times those listings aren't very transparent about what the final price is. But it looks like it's right around $2,000. Maybe the Batman movie's still kind of stirring up a little Batman hype. Maybe you get this one a little closer to kind of $1,750. But a pretty cool one that's a bit speculative because it's really expensive. And, who knows, if they give Tim Fox as Batman a really big push. But a pretty cool one. Batman 313 for $1,956.31. Next one is Star Wars The Clone Wars #1. First appearance of Ahsoka Tano. Saw this in the kind of a first print version, sell for $2,681. Yeah, they're sort of right around. I think that's a fair value right now. Maybe 3 to 6 months ago, they kind of dipped, and maybe a few sold for kind of $2,200, $2,300. I thought that was a pretty good kind of entry point on this one with the Ahsoka shows eventually coming. So $2,681 is probably, I think that's a solid fair value if you really want that one right now. Let's call it right around $2,500 would be a pretty great deal if you wanted a Clone Wars #1 in the first print in a 9.8. Next one, big key, Ultimate Follow 4. Yeah, always kind of cool to follow the couple Ultimate Follow 4s. Saw one sell for $2,950. Saw one sell for $3,051. So we had made a few videos, it was kind of 3 months ago or so, where this one went up to $3,600 and the, new Spider-Verse movie was coming out and kind of the trailers were released, some of the teasers. This one shot up a little over $3,500. You'd want to be patient at that point. I made a few videos, like you just don't want to get in there right now. It's probably going to, cool down, maybe to around $3,000. And right around that time would probably be a better time to buy. Well, it has cooled down. So yeah, you know what? This is one of the better modern comic books to buy in a 9.8. First appearance of Miles Morales, the new Spider-Man. So I think, under $3,000, you can get in there if you want an Ultimate Follow 4. First appearance of Miles Morales. Yeah, pretty great. Just no-brainer modern key issue. Pretty tough in a 9.8 as well. Even though there's a lot of them on the census, it's got a good ratio. So overall, it's just one that's done so well and one you kind of want to buy when it pulls back. I saw the second printing in Ultimate Follow 4 sell for $520. So maybe this one just cooling down a little bit as well. I think you're kind of used to them going in the last 3 to 6 months for closer to $600. So $520 I think is a pretty decent deal on the second printing if maybe your budget's not up there to grab that first printing in a 9.8, which is super expensive. All right, next one, a pretty cool one I saw sell, and I happen to have this one. It's maybe SpiderMan 315. You get the kind of first sort of half of a Venom cover here with Venom's face on the cover. And I was under the impression that this one kind of went for like $175 or something like that, but this one, $249.50 in an auction. Saw this one sell for. So that'll be interesting. Maybe kind of people are maybe just going after this one a little bit because technically it is Venom's first cover, but 316 takes the cake. Looks way cooler. So classic. But this one's still kind of collectible, so maybe it's kind of inching up there in values with, people just realizing if you're a Venom fan, you kind of want that one, and, maybe it was $175. Now people paying up to $250, $249.50. That one going for. Next one I do have in a 9.8 too. It's a Killing Joke in the first print. Just a kind of no-brainer as a Batman fan. You want this one. Pretty good price, I think. $247.50. Yeah, that's a really good price. Kind of used to most of these going in the kind of $275 range. Occasionally one will hit up to $300. You get lucky, right around 250 recently, but maybe the market's cooling down, so 250 might be kind of the going rate on a Killing Joke. There's a lot of them in a 9.8. It's not a very tough one in a 9.8. Otherwise, it'd probably be a lot more expensive, admittedly, because it's such a classic story. But a really cool, affordable one you can get if you're a Batman fan for $247.50. This one had sold for. Next one's a pretty cool one. I really like the art and the eye appeal of these all-new Ghost Rider comics. All-new Ghost Rider #1. First appearance of Robbie Reyes, the new Ghost Rider. Saw this one sell for $356. That's pretty solid. This one, there was a few that had went over 400. One was like in the lower 400s. One was in the higher, like getting close to 500 bucks. This was in the last 3 to 6 months. So it looks like this one's probably just cooling down a little bit, along with quite a few other books for sure. $356, I think. Yeah, kind of a price to aim for if you want that one. All new Ghost Rider #1 is a great one, I think, in the modern age. Okay, next one I do have Uncanny X-Men 142. And Days of Future Past Part 2, just a classic. George Paris, George Paris. John Byrne, Terry Austin cover. I think it's, just Terry Austin on the cover on this one. Classic Sentinels cover, though. And I saw this one up. It was in a buy it now for $625 it sold for in a direct edition. That's really solid, I think, for this one. I got mine in the newsstand edition, but in the direct edition, selling for $625. It was looking pretty good on the scans, too. I was watching it, and yeah, it was a decent shipping to Canada as well, and really nice colors as well on it. Yeah, mine's got a pretty great color, too. I got a really nice copy of this one. But if you're in the market for this one, $625. That was in a flat buy now, so maybe you can grab it a little bit under $600. But actually, I think that's kind of one of those fairly priced buy it nows. And I was watching it for maybe 4 or 5 days, and it did sell rather quickly. Okay, next one. Devil Dinosaur #1. This one is from 1978. I've highlighted this one off and on as a great one. I'm a pretty big dinosaur fan myself. I've wanted this one for quite a long time. I think it's a great value right now. I saw one sell for $320 in a 9.8. And that like Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur book that had just come out in like the past few years in a 9.8. That one is like kicking around that sort of $350 to $400 level. So, I don't think that one's worth more than the original Devil Dinosaur from 1978. And, Moon Girl's in some of the Miles Morales new comic books right now, so you can understand why that one's heating up. I wouldn't really go after that one right now. But Devil Dinosaur #1 from 1978, right around $320, I think is a pretty great value. I think that's one you can buy if you're a Devil Dinosaur fan. Here's a pretty hot Darth Vader book that is kind of interesting to watch right now. Darth Vader #6 from 2017. Its first full appearance of the Grand Inquisitor. I'm pretty sure on, the Obi-Wan trailer. Like, I think that's the Grand Inquisitor kind of spinning his red lightsaber. They show him, pretty close up. So, this one has been heating up in the last few months, and I think it's just cooling down a little bit. I saw one sell for $365. There were a few of these when I think that first trailer hit and people saw him. This one was like $500, and at that point I just, you wanted this. That was a hands-off one, but you're patient a month or two, you get a better deal on some of these new comic books that heat up really fast. So Darth Vader 6 for $365. That's kind of a decent price right now, but a year after the Obi-Wan show, is this one going to be hanging in there with some pretty steep prices? I'm not too sure. It's kind of one of those hot comic books that tough to get a deal on right now, but really cool. Love the cover, absolutely. All right, I do have this one too. X-Men #121, first full appearance of Alpha Flight. Saw this one sell in an auction too. I was really happy to see this one go in an auction for $1,476. Didn't have like the best centering, but it was a 9.8 white pages, looking pretty good, and that's definitely a cooling down price. Yeah, I think it was a pretty solid deal. Actually, a borderline great deal, I think, on an X-Men 121, because we had documented a few kind of sold for like $1,900. If you go back even a little bit more, maybe about 6 months to a year ago, 2,100. I remember a few of these selling for in a 9.8 white pages. So at 1,476, I think that was a great buy, and like, yeah, a great price for like a pretty serious investment grade 9.8 comic. First full appearance of Alpha Flight on X-Men 121. I saw a Star Wars 43 sell. This is first appearance of Lando for $609. Yeah, this one's cooling down just a little bit too. I think off and on this one has heated up, and with, you know, Lando getting some appearances and, you know, recent Star Wars content. So probably a decent time actually to buy a Star Wars 43. If you're in the market for that one, that's sold for $609. Next one, a Star Wars 42 in a 9.8 direct edition on this one. First appearance of Boba Fett, the Bounty Hunters, and Yoda as well. I think this is absolutely one to think about buying right now, because they were like over $3,000 in the direct edition for quite a long time there, leading into, you know, the Book of Boba Fett and all that. This direct edition sold for $2,275. Yeah, it looks like the direct editions are kind of settling in, maybe a little over $2,000. Maybe they get to about $2,000 if they cool down just a little bit more. I think someone on the team said they got a newsstand for like $2,400, I believe it was, in that area. And yeah, the newsstands at the sort of peak Boba Fett hype were like $5,000. So, you know, this is one that it has the big, huge first appearances, you know, first appearance of Yoda, which is probably a little bit underrated on this one, I think. So this is one you can absolutely think about buying on the cool down. This one's selling for $2,275. That's pretty great. I think even right at that price, if you're a big Boba Fett Star Wars fan, you could get in there around that price. Next one is one I put a bid on, but got outbid, didn't win it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie. This is the movie adaptation comic book of that first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie from the early 90s. Love that movie. Still love it too. I think it's stood the test of time, I think, as well. Besides maybe like their weapons are rubbery, so they, like, you can see throughout the movie they hit like door sills and their weapons bend and stuff like that. But besides that, it's kind of a cool, like, dark story. Love the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. So I bid, I think it was like $155.50. Ended up selling for $186.50. So I got outbid on this one. I think it's like a 1 of 40 as well. Pretty great collector item. So I'm kind of bummed I didn't, you know, maybe bid a little bit more. But if you like that one, I think there's one on eBay right now. It's like $225 or so. So that's probably more the price that is going to be easier to get on this one. If you're patient, you wait in an auction, you get it for $186.50. I think is a great deal for a pretty great Turtles comic for sure. Okay, last one here. New Mutants 98 in a 9.8. First appearance of Deadpool. Kind of cool to see this one just kind of hanging in there with, admittedly, like a lot of these are, you know, the market's kind of cooling down, I think we could say, right now. You know, not dropping or, you know, tanking or anything like that, or plummeting in value. Just the market's cooling down a little bit, but New Mutants 98 kind of hanging in there. Saw one sell for $1,775 and $1,825. So that's right around the prices they've been going for in the last 3 to 6 months, let's call it. So, you know, on a New Mutants 98, not really seeing any a cool down in value. Although I notice on eBay right now, there's kind of 3 or 4 that are up for auction right now that are going to be ending in kind of the next 3 days or so. So it'll be interesting to see if, you know, maybe I think these sales prices were about a week or two old. So we'll see if New Mutants 98 kind of pulls back with some of these recent auctions ending. Okay, that's the full list. I'll put the list in the description below with the prices if you want to have a quick look. But yeah, you know what? I think overall, the market's just pulling back, cooling down a little bit. And, you know, the stock market's cooling down a lot. Interest rates are going up. The housing market's cooling down. So it just seems like everything's cooling down. So I'm not surprised. And, you know, overall, I feel like most books are hanging in there, which is good to see, because, you know, when the stock market's, you know, doing pretty bad, the interest rates are going up, there's probably room for some of these to kind of plummet, but I don't really see too many of them plummeting. Just, you know, a little bit of a cool down in price on most 9.8 comics right now. All right, team, we'll leave it at that, though. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. If you're liking my content, please subscribe and hit that bell, and I'll keep you updated on future videos.